Welcome back to POW Science. My name is Mr. Miles. I'll be your POW Science scientist today. So today we are back at my desk. So we are going to do something a little bit different today. We've been doing a lot of going out and looking at cool things in nature, but now we're going to take some time to spend a little bit of time inside and do an indoor activity, but still an activity that's really, really important for any aspiring naturalists out there. So today's activity is going to be a science illustration activity. So science illustration is really important for all branches of science because it helps scientists visualize things for non-scientists. These can be things that either people were not there to see, or it can be things that are too complicated to express into words, or it can be things that are too difficult and abstract to express as numbers or data. Science illustration is especially important in the biological sciences because a lot of stuff in biology is based off of how things look. So, what I'm going to show you today is one technique that is used in science illustration to make things symmetrical. So, a lot of things are symmetrical, and symmetrical just means that it's the same on both sides. So, if you have ever tried to draw a heart, that is an example of a symmetrical figure that you have attempted to draw. But you might have noticed that it's kind of hard to get both sides of your heart looking exactly the same. And that's because it's really hard to draw symmetrically. But I'm going to show you a way that you can kind of cheat and draw symmetrically every single time. So for this activity, I'm going to show you how to draw a wasp. Now you can draw whatever you like that is symmetrical using this technique. So you could draw something like a leaf, you could draw something like a person, you could draw something like a butterfly. But I'm going to do a wasp because I think they're really pretty and I think they're fun to draw. So you need a piece of paper and you also need something to write with. Now if you haven't done this already, I would use a pencil, just so that you can erase in case you make a mistake, but pencil doesn't show up very good on camera, so I'm going to use a crayon, because it's going to be nice and dark. So the first thing you want to do is you got to fold your paper in half. You can go either way. You can go either the long way or the short way. I'm going the shorter way just because I think it makes a more even rectangle. The other rectangle I would make if I folded it the other way would be a bit too long and skinny for me. All right. And now, the most important thing is to make sure when you're doing your drawing that, number one, you're only drawing half of what you're going to do because you're going to flip it to do the other half. And you want to make sure that the center is where the fold is. So I like to keep the fold on the left because I am right-handed, and so that way I am drawing on the right side of the creature. But you can do it the other way if you're left-handed. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you draw your center line, anything that's in the center, is going to be on the fold. So let's do some of the parts of this insect. So the first thing it needs a head. There we go. Kind of a little heart shape there. Now it needs a thorax, that's the middle part. Boop. Looking good. And it needs an abdomen. That's the end part. Woo. So now that we've drawn the three basic body parts, let's add some details. So first we'll give it an eye. Nice dark eye. We'll give it an antenna. And we're going to put some little lines on the bottom, on the abdomen here. There we go. And now our next step is we're going to add some wings and some legs. So if you're doing this with a pencil, you can do this in whatever order you want because you can erase if you need to. I'm going to draw the wings first because they go on top. And so I don't want to have the legs and then you'll be able to see them when I draw the wings on top of them. So you'll see. So the wings go kind of near the top of the thorax. Whoop! Wing number one. Wing number two. Because insects have two pairs of wings, except for flies. Okay, so we've done the wings. Now let's do the legs. So the legs are a little more complicated because the legs, one of them is going to be underneath these wings, so we won't be able to see it as well. So this leg can sort of start here and boop, boop. And so that's the leg going underneath the wing. And now these other two legs, those ones can just go down there because an insect has 6 legs and we're going to flip the whole thing. So at this point, you can really add whatever other things you like. You can add some details like some veins in the wings. Or you can add some hairs on the thorax because wasps can be very hairy sometimes. But just remember that anything you draw now, you're gonna have to draw again when we flip it. So the next step with our little drawing is we've got to get it up into a window and we've got to flip it over. Now you got to do this when it's light out. You can't do this at night. But see, when I hold it up to the window, everything that I've drawn is totally visible on the other side. So it's going to let me trace it. Now you can just hold it up and trace if you like, but I'm going to tape mine up because I do not have enough hands to hold the camera and the drawing and my crayon at the same time. All right, we are ready to trace. So I'm going to go ahead and do this tracing. I might not be as neat as I would hope you are going to be because I have to hold the camera up, but it's pretty easy to just trace over what you've done. Boop. 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 And the nice thing is if you make a little mistake here, like see how my head's a little bit wonky there, is most things, even symmetrical things, are not perfectly symmetrical. Even our faces in a mirror. So if you make a tiny little mistake, that's okay. No big deal. All right, so that's looking pretty good, and now we are ready to take it off the wall. Our drawing is now officially off the wall, and the only thing that's left to do is the big reveal. Aww. So if you did all the steps right, you should have a nice symmetrical drawing at this point. And believe it or not, this is actually pretty much the exact way that science illustrators for many, many years used to make symmetrical drawings. The only difference is that science illustrators would be more apt to use a nice, clear tracing paper like this, but I didn't want to go that far because I wasn't sure if all of you folks had tracing paper. Yep, but that's pretty much the way to do it. So you can use this to draw all sorts of things. Anything symmetrical you can think of, anything your mind can think of, you can make it. All right, well, that was our science illustration activity for the day. Please let us know here in the comments if you enjoyed it. If you made a drawing yourself, share it with us on social media, or better yet, bring it to Pal Science. We would love to see it and see how you guys are doing. But for now, I hope you folks have a great rest of your day.